I need to kill 30 chickens in the next 2 weeks. Hi, I'm Jason Machin. I've kept chickens for 2 years now. Their egg production has dwindled exponentially, and I would like my freedom back so that I can do some traveling. They need to go. So you're going to want a few things. First off, some water with a straw, because your hands are going to be filthy. Bucket of hot water from the tap is fine. Table, chair, knives, and a bunch of chickens. I do be recommending you get your chickens first thing in the morning when their crop and all other organs are empty. You could argue that having something in the crop makes the crop easier to take out, but I digress. Oh, almost forgot. You're also going to want something high up and some tape. I do recommend getting a killing cone. However, I don't know where to get something like that, and I've only got 30 chickens to kill, and then I'm not getting any more chickens. If you want to continue having chickens, invest in a killing cone because they seem so much easier to use. Oh right, one little thing, their feet are often disgusting. Hose, just the hose. So once their feet are clean-ish, you tape them up and hang them upside down. If you happen to be a novice, do one at a time. Also, another thing you're going to need is soap, because you're going to be washing your hands constantly. These things are gross. Right, I've washed my hands. These guys have been hanging here for about 2 minutes. I'm going to get my longest, sharpest knife, make my way through the feathers to the throat, and just cut and cut until there's very little left. There will be blood and shaking, and it's an unpleasant experience for both of us, although I tend to do a lot better than the chickens. I'm not going to show the cutting on YouTube because I assume there's something somewhere that says I shouldn't do that. So grab the head, play through the feathers till you get to the throat, then cut. After slitting their throats, you're going to wash the knife, question your humanity, and probably wash your hands again. Right, so once the bird stops flapping and the blood stops dripping, you're going to want to untie that tape and dunk it in some hot water. This part's a little boring. Takes about 30 seconds, but I am going to show you the whole process. Make sure your water's still hot. Chicken goes in the bucket of hot water, or very warm water, and you're going to want to go up and down about 10 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See how all the feathers are no longer fluffy? Then you want to submerge the thing. You want to make sure you get the feet into at least a little bit, and then do that for about 20 seconds. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How are we doing? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, now here's the test. Chickens, maybe it's not as hot as I thought it was. Ideally, the chicken skin just peels off. Long story short, that hot water is not hot enough. Probably because I filled it up before I started filming. It worked this time. See right there? Just peels off. So one of these chickens are going to be a lot easier to pluck than the other one. Right, so I start by holding the feet, ripping up these ones, then the front, then the wings, then the back. So this is the one where the water wasn't quite hot enough. Got to actually rip it out. This one, nice and hot. I didn't pluck, I just run my hand through it. There's a little bit of a difference. By the way, if your water is not hot enough, you can re-dunk the chicken. This was a demonstration. Yes, that was the plan. This is definitely the plan the entire time. Right, so the wings are difficult. You want to grab here and then just pull that way. And here we have a fully plucked chicken. I leave the tail on because I cut the whole thing out. I leave the wing tips on because they are horrendous to pluck, but I just cut here. I don't need any wing tips. And obviously I'm going to cut off the head. This is the part of the video where I tell you you should be using stainless steel benches, water and bleach, and all those other fun things. However, all of this is going into my freezer for me to eat, and I'm going to cook the chicken anyway. So I'm not too worried about there being dirt on the chicken meat when it's getting cooked. But if you're making this for someone else or prepping it to sell, holy shit, do something else. Let's get to some cutting. Here I've got the leg. You're going to want to bend it upwards and cut that bit there. Obviously cutting tendon, you just keep going. Then I'm going to cut it from the other side. This is a good dog treat, or a human treat, if you're Asian. I lived in Asia for 3 years. Still don't like it. Oh my god. I cut straight through. I think my stepdad sharpened my knives. Anyway. It's starting to look a bit more like a chicken. You know, from the shops. Same thing here. Bend it. Cut in the bottom. This is a little more complicated. By more complicated, I mean there's 2 bones there, so it's a weird compound joint. You just kind of have to hack at it until you figure it out. I assume once you're good at it, you can find it immediately. I haven't got there yet. Helpful tip that I just realized I do every single time. It helps if you snap it back. I guess I'll have to show you. Get your wing and then just that. Then cut. Now for the complicated part. You feel that the spine has knobs along it. You want to cut between the knobs. And obviously between the knobs, I don't mean like this far apart. I mean the knobs are very, very close together and you want to cut in between because that's where the joint is. I'm 90% sure on that. Right, now that I'm not using the camera, the second chicken, doing all that with this knife, took about a minute. This next part nearly made my army friend puke. It's getting the inside of the chicken outside. First, we're going to cut the spine down here. That's a very important part. So much easier than the neck. Then we get our little knife, pinch the abdomen like so, and cut. I don't have enough hands to show the next part, but we want to get in here and cut from here all the way down to here. Something like that. It's hideous though. So you're going to shove your hand up its asshole, fiddle around until you find the heart, grab the heart with your 2 fingers, and then slowly wrap your hand around the rest of the organs, and then slowly pull out. You want the esophagus between your fingers here. It's going to look something like this, and you're going to want to puke. Yeah. Now, if for some reason you did not collect your chicken first thing in the morning, you're going to want to cut in here and get the crop out. But seeing as there's nothing in it, I don't care. On second thought, cutting out the crop may make it easier to rip out the esophagus. But I'm neither here nor there on that. Anyway, I've got 2 chickens. Right, your chicken is now going to be gross. It's going to have blood, guts, and feathers all over it. So we're going to rinse it under the tap. I now have a cleaner chicken. There are a few stray hairs left, but they are probably attached. I'm going to get my scissors and split it in 2. And then we put it in our handy dandy freezer bag. And then we put it straight in the freezer. Right, those 2 are done. I've got 4 more left. Time for the cleanup. We clear off the table, all the offal goes in the bucket, and then we spray the table. Please note, there is nothing hygienic about my method. I am killing a chicken, ripping its guts out, cutting it up, putting it in a freezer immediately. Then that chicken taken out of the freezer and put in the oven or air fryer or whatever I'm cooking it in. This chicken carcass will not have the time to develop bacteria because it goes straight to the freezer, to the oven. And I am the only one eating it. If I ever end up selling meat, I will be doing a much better job at hygiene. This is just a backyard job, okay? Be safe. Peace. I'm not going to kiss that. I got notes. It takes about half an hour to set up, half an hour to clean up, disinfect everything your hands have touched, including the phone. Blood will get everywhere. You definitely need to take off the towels. Removing the crop does make it easier to remove the esophagus, although up to you if you want to do that. Also, if you rip out the heart first, apparently everything else comes out easier after that. No idea why. Also, it is better to do it in the morning because there's a lot less heat. You can either give all the scraps to the dog, put it in a maggot bucket, or dig a really deep hole. Alright, peace. And yes, I did wash my hands thoroughly.